Anike, who was on a live with John Keith and Deal, and they were talking about how you should not use Christian remixes to build your brand, that it should not be a marketing strategy, that if you're doing that, like you shouldn't be. It's almost like a cringe thing to do. Like, hey, if you do 1 or 2, and in any case, like, yo, I do it sometimes if I need to get a song out my head and renew my mind, but we really ain't about that. And the only thing I can think about is the fact that all them niggas did that. Like, I find it very interesting that this is the hill that they're willing to die on. But I say it like this all the time. Those that wouldn't otherwise look at your music or find your music or see your music is going to do that because they, one, recognize the beat. So that's already going to have cause to pause, right? And then they're going to hear your lyric. And then ultimately, if they really like rocking with you, they're going to rock with you. What are your thoughts on this, man?
I think that there's just always going to be a market for that, especially for a younger Christian audience. Um, there's just always going to be people that like it. And I think that there's just going to be a handful of people that don't like it so much. Um, I remember, back in the day, liking Christian flips, Christian hip hop flips, because I was in high school and I would hear some of these mainstream songs played in the hallways all the time. But when I would hear a Christian artist do it, to me that was cool because they were talking about things that I agree with. They were talking about things that worship God. So, and it just made it cool. You know what I'm saying? Because those things, a lot of those songs, you're singing it anyways, you know, and then you get the flip, and it's like, okay, this is a dope flip alternative. With that being said, that's something I was into when I was younger, when
So
I
you
was
know,
in high
you
school.
have, for lack
But
of a
that
better
was something
term, you
I
have
grew up.
flipped.
That's something that that's just something that I've grew out of at this point though. I don't really I'm not really into hearing or listening to Christian flips of mainstream songs. They're okay. I know and realize the artistic gifts that Christian hip hop artists do have.
This
Like the
nigga gay,
artists
bro.
that we have mentioned. And I take confidence that they can make something just as dope that doesn't have to be flipped. And when you're dealing also with these artists that are sonically inspired, anyways,
Yeah,
by these mainstream artists, they're sonically inspired, anyways. So a lot of times they're taking
that was
cues
good,
and they're taking
Victorious.
notes
Yeah, keep going.
about everything in general when they listen to these songs. So whenever they're creating their art from scratch, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna sound like what you're hearing in those flips anyway. So I like to stand when I was like deep in this genre, I used to love to stand on the fact that we made a lot of dope art. And we had a lot of giftedly talented people who could write and spitters. You have your spitters, you have your writers, you have your wavy artists. If we go on, a few years ago with 1K Phew and Paris Chariz, and even still to this day. And then you have your heavy
Yeah, shouts
spitters
out to
like,
1K. He just dropped the album Any Given Sunday. I gotta get at a listen. I
yeah.
haven't done it just yet, but yeah,
And then
they
you
still out
still
there.
have your heavy spitters like a no big deal, you know what I'm saying? Like a Miles Minnick, so you still have these guys who gonna still make some crazy art that you just like, man, I'm extremely impressed, about this.
Yeah.
So
Vic says he agrees with you. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Um, yeah, so I'm kind of in that realm as well. So if I'm being honest, I hate the damage that the flips did to me. And what I mean by that is I find myself, for example, okay, Super Bass, Nicki Minaj's Super Bass, right? Love that song. One of my favorite songs. However, when I that song comes on, I can't help but sing the Trackhead remix, Super
Hmm.
Praise. And it's almost automatic. It is not on
Yeah.
purpose. It is not like, it is really automatic because I've heard it so much that when that song comes on, bro, I sing Super Praise. And
But you
so
know, Trackhead, they were giftedly talented
they
singers, and
were,
it's
they
hard
were.
to like who was that? T Nick. I know
Hey,
T Nick
hey,
was a
shouts out to
really,
T Nick.
really
Yeah,
talented singer, right? And it's hard to
yeah.
deliver if you're singing. However, if you're rapping, how difficult is it to replace super bass with super praise and just you're
I
just
mean,
throwing
it's
super
super
praise?
easy. Hey,
It's
hey, Day Day,
not.
for real. Shout out to Trackhead Family. They did covers better than the original artist, and I agree. I agree. I wouldn't say their Amelie remix was better than Wayne's, but definitely in a lot of situations, their remixes were better than the
You know,
original artist. I agree.
a
Yeah.
lot of things just don't need a flip. Just don't need the flip. Because
But
you know
when
what?
but I
You
think you
really,
made a
you
good hold on,
really,
but I think you made a good point, right? When when it is one, when you're a young Christian, let's start there. When you're a young Christian, especially if you were listening heavy to that type of music, right? When you are a young Christian listening heavy to, or you're trying to fight the temptation of listening to that type of music, these remixes or these flips come in handy because, like you said, man, I'm in high school, I'm hearing these songs regularly in the hallways anyway, or I'm riding with my friends or whatever the case is, and that's what they playing. I
Mhm.
have no choice but to fight that with the alternative because I want to hear it, my flesh want to hear it, my ears. It's good. It's appealing to the ears, right? So
Yeah,
I want to hear it, but being in the rooted and grounded the way that I am, you know what I'm saying? I tend to try not to listen to that. So these flips give me what I want in the form of the beat, but they change the lyrics a little bit, and then I think it keeps me from it. But again, I'm forever damaged because of it, if I'm being honest, because there are a few songs that I cannot listen to without singing the flip. Now, some would say that that may
it's
be good.
even, you know, but it's the melody that you love the most,
No,
right?
no, that ain't.
It's the
No, that ain't.
melody.
That was. Hey, that song was a hit, bro. Drop it low for Jesus, bro. That song was a hit. That was a hit, bro. No, you not
So
gonna do.
it's the melody and sonically what you really like
That's
about
true.
that
That's
song.
true. Not really what they talk. Well,
More
okay, I'll
so,
get it. Yeah,
more so than the
than the
flip,
lyrics
because the
itself.
flip
Yeah,
would not hit if it wasn't for that melody
yeah,
and if sonically it wasn't pleasing to the ear.
yeah.
And that's why I say there's some creativity to it to a certain aspect, but I think it's to a certain aspect and it only goes so far. But I think that ultimately,
So what
sonically,
if?
you
So what
just
if a Christian?
appreciate the melody of what you're hearing, and the flip makes it better, obviously, and you can connect with the lyrics that they're changing up. But I think ultimately, what's key is that melody. Like let's
So
not get it twisted.
what if the Christian artist came? What if there was one Christian artist that came and all they did, essentially Trackhead did this? And I guess we
Yeah.
can ask the question, is this what ultimately led to Trackhead's demise? Say if a Christian artist came out and all they did was Christian remixes. At that point, would that I mean, is that a bad thing? Because ultimately that's what Anike was saying. If that's your entire marketing strategy, if that is the only way that you get people listening to you, by doing Christian remixes. I'm gonna do this Christian remix. I'm gonna get this
Yeah.
following, and I'm gonna have this ginormous following. Like, can that be detrimental to you? We talk about the Trackhead family. I'm about to pull them up right now. We talk about the Trackhead family, right? And they were great. Trackhead actually released somewhere like 4 or 5 albums for real.
Yeah.
And they were great. But
Yeah, they was
ultimately,
dropping. They was,
I mean, it was
man,
like
they was
every
dropping them like,
popular song you could think about. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? They had a record for. But my thing is, my thing is, was that ultimately what led to their demise? Was it that they could not find?
I don't know.
You
Are
know,
they still? They not around no more? Do they
bro,
not have?
last time I checked, they wasn't. Last
Yeah.
time I checked, I mean,
You
bro,
know,
they got
to my so they had a lot of members, right? They had a
they
lot.
yeah, they did. Looks
They
like
had
the
a
last
few.
thing on YouTube, I got something from 2022, I think.
More recent than you
Um
think.
Yeah, I guess you're right. More recently than you think. I got one October 15th, 2023, but I don't believe that says recent. They got a Jesus is coming to town. That more than likely is probably a Michael Jackson flip. Um, and yeah, yo, B plus, what is good, Brody? Yes, sir. Good to see you in here, man. For real. Hey, B plus is in there. Holy
What up, B
Culture's
plus?
finest. What's good, baby?
What
Um,
up?
yeah, bro. So I mean, ultimately, is that what happened with Trackhead? I mean, you tell me.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if that's the only thing that, yeah. I mean, I don't. Did they have any original like? They have
I,
any original
I
songs?
think, if I'm not mistaken,
They have a
on
couple.
yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. If I'm not mistaken, on like one of their last albums, maybe their last couple albums, um, they had some like they would like mix it in.
Hmm.
They would like mix it in. So, for example, bro, I'm about to pull this up right now. There is oh shoot, not like the well, that'd be all right. Give me a second. So in this track listing, right? They got OMG, that was that Usher
Usher.
remix.
Yeah.
Yeah, the OMG was the Usher remix. There Go My Jesus, another one. There Go My Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was another Usher remix. Praise No Matter What. I know they had a Black and Yellow remix. What we on now? Heart Attack, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
like this is their normal thing, and they had a good run. At least I would think so. You're talking about 5 projects, 2010. What? They probably stopped making music around 2016 ish, 2017. Most of these people don't get that far, bro.
Yeah, they were popular enough. Like I said, there was a market for it. I mean, and to be fair, I feel like they were really the ones that were doing it heavy. Not a lot of people did it like them.
But you know
They
what?
were,
And Vic wanted to bringing up a good point in regards to this. He says doing a remix where I mimic every flow and every cadence of the original artist is too much for me. At the most, I just freestyle over the beat with my own vocal style. But see,
that's
that's what
different. That's
that
different. That's
that that
totally different.
that is. But we're talking about Trackhead, right? They did that.
Yeah.
Trackhead would literally mimic every
Yeah,
cadence,
yeah. Every
every
cadence,
every
every,
flaw, every
yeah,
melody, every up and down, like
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and ultimately, if I'm being honest, bro, that made it better. That made it easier. That made it like you weren't missing out by not listening to the regular version.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it sounded like the regular version.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the
All the
lyrics,
way, all the
just
way.
the lyrics were switched, but it would sound
Yeah,
like the regular version, you know. They
yeah.
don't
So
miss that for sure.
again, to get back to the point, they said don't make it your entire marketing strategy. I can get with that in a sense of maybe you shouldn't do. But I mean, if they like you, they like you, right? So when
Yeah.
they come and see you, sure they're going to look for more Christian remixes, but I believe at some point they're going to check out your original music. At some point, you brought up T Nick, right? T
Yeah.
Nick was somebody who we recognized in the Trackhead family as somebody who legitimately had talent. Legitimately. Like if he would have branched
Yeah,
out and
yeah.
made if he would have
Yeah,
branched out
no,
and
so that's why I said like even the melody itself, like yeah, I understand that's what you're connected to, But somebody like a T Nick, um, so when we talk about, the "There Goes My Baby, There Goes My Jesus,"
Yeah,
and for majority of the part, the whole entire song is falsetto.
that's
So
true.
T
Yeah,
Nick is
yeah,
having to deliver that
yeah. He
song
does have to deliver
falsetto
that. Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
its
yeah.
entirety. So
Yeah.
something like that I can appreciate because that's difficult to do. If
Right.
you're a singer and even though you may be flipping a worldly song, to do it
You
in
still
the
got to be able
way
to
of
carry it.
hitting
Yeah, you
exact
still got to be able to
notes and
carry it.
stuff
Yeah,
like that, if you're a
yeah.
singer, then to me that's pretty difficult to do. I wouldn't suggest doing a whole album of that or making it your career,
I mean,
as
they did it.
that's the whole
They did it.
as that's the whole point of this. But
Yeah.
yeah, nah, I wouldn't take away from T Nick's vocal ability at
Right.
all as it pertains to
So
that.
your talent, if you're doing that, your talent can still shine through, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.